Hello everyone and welcome back to Type 1 Diabetic in the Room. I hope all of you have been doing amazingly well because it's Diabetes Awareness Month and we're just one day before that ends, which is tomorrow on the 30th of November. I would actually like to commemorate this video to me celebrating my 7-year dia anniversary, which is on the 5th of December. It will be 7 years since I was diagnosed with my diabetes, and in today's video I will be speaking about how my life before diabetes was different, the quality of my life I would say, and how the quality of life has been in the last 7 years for me. So let's begin with how actually diabetes does change the quality of one's life, especially if you're somebody who has been diagnosed probably in your teens or your late teens or even your adult age, which is post 18. And let's begin. So why is it that quality of life is something that is so important? Because especially when diabetes is such a demanding disease, I would say quality of life is basically, I would not say quality as in how we have quality check for food and for clothes. I would say quality of life comes down to emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, and how all of these connected make up the four big things in your life. So after you've been diagnosed with diabetes, all four areas in these aspects, they do change a lot. Your emotional aspect changes, your spiritual aspect changes, your physical aspect changes, and your mental aspect changes a lot. Diabetes affects the quality of life in actually, I would say, a large way, because it can have a very subjective perception of one's physical, social, emotional, and your satisfaction and your happiness. Now, why is it that quality of life is so important apart from having diabetes, and in general if you're somebody who doesn't have diabetes? It's because firstly, people who suffer from diabetes, they're very overwhelmed most of the time because of your sugar levels, I would say. And this tends to affect your physical aspect as well as your emotional aspect, because you don't know what to do. So sometimes your attitude will just be like, oh, go to hell with it. Or sometimes your attitude will be like, what am I supposed to do? You become very panicky. And the risks, the complications when you have that kind of go to hell with it attitude, I would say it leads to diminished self-care, and it in turn leads to worsened glycemic index and glucose levels, which again will mentally cause you that trauma that my sugar levels are so high or so low. How do I manage it? Your physical levels will get spoiled in the sense that your body will either gain a lot of weight, lose a lot of weight, or you'll have rashes on your skin, and emotionally you will feel very drained out because you don't know what to do. You feel very helpless in that matter. And spiritually, I would say you don't know where to look at. You don't know if you should call your doctor. You don't know if you should talk to your parents about it, or if you should talk to a friend about it. Spiritually, you don't know who should you speaking to about. Quality of life is actually increasingly now being recognized as an important health aspect and outcome, representing the ultimate goal of health interventions. Because in today's times especially, we have seen how rehab centers have been on a boom all of a sudden, and how everybody is always wanting to speak about mental health, because honestly speaking, it is really important for somebody mentally to be really fit, to be really strong in order to manage their diabetes at a very controlled level. So if we look at the diabetic trend worldwide, then most people with not just diabetes but any kind of chronic complications or diseases will have long-term concerns to speak to or about or think about. In my last video, I had spoken about how a lot of things can go wrong with somebody's body in case of uncontrolled sugar levels or not diagnosing diabetes on time. And this is something that really takes a toll on one's mind, that oh, if I'm not taking my sugars, my organs will get damaged. This is something I really think about, that if I don't maintain my diabetes, my other organs are going to get affected, and I do not want that. Some people will think that it worries me that I am so dependent on insulin. People might think of me as a burden, or what if my children inherit it? And these are all very psychologically burdening and demanding thoughts that one should definitely not keep in their mind. So when it comes to quality of life in terms of treatment, a lot of people think that, oh my god, I have to write down my sugar levels because I have to test them so many times. I hate pricking my finger. Why can't I eat this? I don't want to eat this. And I want to diet, but I'm not able to diet because if I don't eat something, my sugar levels will go down. I feel ashamed of pricking myself for testing my sugar levels or for taking my injection in public. A lot of people hate the fact that they have to be on a strict diet, and a lot of people also don't like the fact that for somebody who's so young, they have to go to the hospital or the doctor so often as compared to their peers and their companions. Now, also how it affects the quality of life is, let me tell you something about type 1 diabetic people, that we think a lot. So if you think you're somebody who overthinks a lot, you've not met a diabetic person, because we cannot survive a single day without thinking, how much how much insulin am I supposed to take right now? Will somebody like me be able to move on with a normal life? Because a lot of diabetic people underestimate themselves. Do I have so much flexibility in life to be able to do this or that without having any complications? Then will somebody accept me for my diabetes? In terms of having a companion or a partner as well, people think that, will I be a burden on this person? Are they ready to mentally and physically handle me as their partner with so much already happening in their life? Is there a way where I can accept and manage my diabetes without complications? How do I be more relaxed? Because diabetes really stresses you out. And I'm not saying any of this just mentally, I'm saying any of this even physically. So the ball game with diabetes is that when you feel mentally exhausted, you are also physically exhausted, and it's vice versa. Some people will find it very difficult to live and accept the disease, and some people will set their own limits to it. A lot of people in their everyday lives get affected. For some people with diabetes, it's compulsory to have a driving test being given almost every 6 months to 1 year, I guess, as compared to somebody who is not with a chronic disease, because once you get your license, you don't have to keep getting your self checked again and again if you're being able to drive perfectly all right. But for some people it will be that you have to keep doing it for every 6 to 8 months, or maybe once in a year. Some people don't like to tell their friends or are scared that they will not be accepted for their condition. Some people think that they will be judged, made fun of. A lot of people also think that, I'm saying this about women, a lot of women think that they will not be able to have children, and it is very upsetting to see women who are so passionate about having children, who are so maternally instinctive and so kind to children, when they think so and they don't know the story or the fact that it is very much possible. But again, it's just about controlling and managing your sugar levels. Many of you will get, like I said, overwhelmed, burdened, frustrated, or burned out. But the fear of complications, the fear of always being so stressed out, and how do you supplement all of this is something that is called as diabetes distress. And honestly, you can be happy with diabetes. It's all about the several paths to a happy and a satisfying life. There is not just one way how you can be happy. There's going to be multiple ways that you will have to take in order to be happy in life with and without diabetes. Though there is a lot of barriers that diabetes will throw in your way, but it should never ever let you stop if you have big dreams, if you know you can achieve those despite the condition, go ahead. Nobody can stop you from achieving your dreams, your goals. It is something that goes without saying. If you dream it, you should work for it. Some strategies will work for some people, some things will work for some other people. You just have to keep jumping over all these hurdles that life throws at you. Now, some ways in which you can actually improve the quality of your life as a type 1 diabetic is find pleasure. If you like playing, like in my case, I love spending time with my dog. That really calms me down. If you are somebody who would want to do the same, you can do that. You can spend some time with your grandparents, spend some time with your dogs. If you are somebody who is into arts and hobbies, you can either paint, you can do pottery, you can write a book, read a book. There is a lot of things that you can do. If you want to exercise, but again in the right way, you can exercise. There is so many things. You just have to, before you go into that zone, pull yourself out of that zone and be yourself again. One more way that you can improve the quality of your life, which actually motivated me to start my own diabetic channel, is to be able to serve other people who are going through it as well. It actually gives me immense joy that quite a lot of people have this notion that I'm not an expert, and I know I'm not an expert. I'm not somebody who is prescribing you medicines or is telling you that you should take this much insulin or you should take this kind of a therapy. I am just an individual with type 1 diabetes herself, who from my own life experiences, from a 15-year-old girl to now a 22-year-old girl, is telling you that I have been through this, so can you. You can overcome it because I have overcome it, and I believe that if I as an individual can do something, then everybody around me can do it. So if helping out others is something that really gives you joy, then you should go do that. If you want to go to a place or an orphanage where there is type 1 diabetic children that you know of, you should go to them, share your story with them and motivate them that this is just a part of life. This is not your whole life. Other ways where you can help yourself improve quality of life is definitely self-care. When I say self-care, it could be digital detox. My mother is somebody who really likes to, some days, actually Fridays, she does not speak at all. She does not touch her phone, her iPad, nothing of that sort. And it is a day where she just sits down, she writes her journal, and she's really happy that one particular, I mean, it stresses me out because I want my mother to be speaking to me always, but it's something that does good to her. So if you are somebody who wants to do that, they can do that. If you're somebody who likes massages, you can go for massages, get them. You deserve to be treated. If you want, you can put candles in your room for no reason, in your bathroom for no reason. You can have warm baths. You can just lie down on your bed doing absolutely nothing. Because the more your mind, your body and your soul are interconnected with each other, the better it is going to be for you. You should also focus on, this is slightly contradictory, but being in contact with people is also good. I'm not saying that go attend a party all of a sudden, or if you are somebody who likes to party, why not? Go ahead, go spend some time with your friends. If there's just 2-3 people, and in these times, especially when we can't meet each other, I would advise you to definitely do all of this virtually. Please do not actually go out and meet people without, and if you're going, please do wear a mask. Technically you shouldn't be going because you're a type 1 diabetic and your life is at risk, but do it virtually. Do like a group video call, do like a group video call activity with each other where all of you are just encouraging each other, doing something really new that day. So one thing that's really worked well for me is when I take walks. I'm somebody who really likes to take these silent walks. Sometimes it's with music in my ears, and that has really helped myself calm down, especially when I'm worried about my sugar levels. For some of you, maybe spirituality would work. If you're somebody who is very spiritual, prayer and meditation could definitely do the job for you. If you're somebody who is into yoga, yoga will definitely do the job for you. For me, Pilates has been that best friend for me, where especially after a bad sugar level day, when I used to go for my classes in the evening, I used to feel like I am in a place that doesn't belong on earth, because I used to forget about the kind of day I was having, my sugar levels that I was going through, and it just really helped me calm myself down. So a lot of you could probably get into exercise as your medium to improving your spirit, your energy levels at the end of the day. A lot of things could work for a lot of people, very different. For some people it could be working, for some people it could be money, for some of you it might be even shopping, and for some of you it would be your spirituality, your environment, your pets, your parents. A lot of things will definitely be different for a lot of people. I would honestly like to conclude this video by saying that the future of quality of life is very important. There is research and care obviously happening even on this, apart from finding a cure for it at the end of the day. But I believe that it is all when you start realizing your own potential yourself. The beginning is always from here, your center. That is where your beginning actually is. And as a person with diabetes, you should make sure that in order to level up your quality of life, you have to be active, you have to be effective, and you have to be able to cope with things. The one thing that you should be doing every day is improving your coping skills by coping up with your diabetes and accepting the fact that you have it. People will not understand what you're going through, people will not understand what you feel except a fellow type 1 diabetic with you, and this will actually improve your self efficacy and your emotional well-being. Because let me tell you, diabetic people, type 1, type 2 or any other kind, are more prone to depression and anxiety. And I am saying this with experience, because after my diabetes was diagnosed, I did go through a phase of really bad depression. Till date, I am very anxious when I have something really important coming up in my life. Like, I cannot sleep a whole night, I probably will not eat my food, but I have to because of my diabetes. And I will also be having this sensation in my stomach which I cannot describe in words. So let me just tell you that if we as people, as individuals responsible for our own lives, do not start taking care of the quality of our life, then it's going to be very difficult, because honestly nobody is going to help us out. It has to be us, as maybe a community or as us individuals. So I would like to tell each one of you, especially if you're a type 1 diabetic, that I'm always here. You can always reach out to me, because trust me, I know what you're feeling, I know what you're going through. And every time I say this, I'm not saying this just for saying it, I actually truly mean it. Helping out a fellow type 1 diabetic is something that really gives me a lot of joy, especially when people come up and tell me their stories, and the fact that they actually enjoy being a diabetic now. So I hope this video was really motivational or anything of that sort for you guys, because quality of life is really important as a type 1 diabetic or a diabetic in general. If we do not level up ourselves, life isn't going to level up in its own. So with that, let's conclude today's video. Please do like, share, subscribe, and pass on the video to all your other people who, if not type 1 diabetic, just need a little motivation in their lives, because I would be really happy to have helped anybody out there. And please do continue watching all my videos. It's been amazing to have people actually watch them and come up to me with advice, feedback. I'm always open to feedback, by the way, so I'm going to be linking my Instagram handle below, where if you watch this video, if you would have wanted me to change something, if I'm saying something that's not correct, or if my facts are wrong, please do let me know. I would really appreciate feedback. I had one recently, and that actually helped me put it out that I am no expert, I am not a doctor, but that does not mean that I am not eligible enough to be able to make videos and share my story, help others share their story, or speak up about the fact that this is something that exists and this is something that the society needs to accept as seriously as any other condition in the world. So I'm no doctor, I am no expert, I'm just stating facts that I have experienced on my own. Some of my research does come from the internet, obviously, but I am not prescribing any medicines or any medications or any kind of therapy. That way, I am definitely not eligible for making videos, but I am not making those sort of videos. So, till I'm actually helping anybody out with acceptance of their own condition, I will be making these videos, and I will see you in my next one. I hope all of you had a great diabetes awareness month, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.